And the Ramban is about to teach us a couple of extraordinary principles from the Torah and its sages about finding a wife, about finding a husband. If you are in the world of Shidduchim, you're looking for a wife, don't look until you've studied this lecture thoroughly. If you are in the world of looking for a husband, don't look until you've studied this lecture thoroughly and took a step back and looked in the mirror. Not the mirror that you have in your room, but the mirror, the spiritual mirror, looking at yourself, some introspection to see where you fit with your desires of what you're looking for. And then determine whether what you're looking for is really what you still want. So the Ramban says as follows, ואני צורך לעוררך על יסוד גדול שבתורה ובדברי רבותינו, זיכרונם לברכה, שבא בתהילים, אלוהים מושיב יחידים ביתה. I must make you aware of the great principle of the Torah and what our sages of blessed memory said regarding the verse that David HaMelech wrote in Psalm 68 verse 7, which says, whoever marries, who says, God places the special ones in our house. And the sages in the Gemara Masechet Kiddushin said, whoever marries a woman for her beauty alone, a month comes and goes, and the sword devours him. As it said, they betrayed the Lord, for they had begotten strange children. Now shall the new moon devour them with their portions. That's what Hosea the prophet said in chapter 5 verse 7. And the great secret behind this is that since he married a woman for her beauty, the union is not for the sake of heaven, but rather his thoughts on her physical appearance, and he is not pondering high pure thoughts. We're going to continue beyond that, but this is the first segment. I don't want to lose you guys to understand really what's at stake here. The Ramban is telling us that there is this hidden principle, not hidden from the sages, not hidden from the scholars, not hidden from people that are in the world of Torah, but hidden from everyone else, about marriage, about who to marry. This secret is inside the verse in Psalms, where David HaMelech, on one hand, tells us the pshat, which is talking about how Hashem loves Am Yisrael, but furthermore, he tells us about the suffering that he had because of certain choices that he made that weren't in line with what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted him to make. And if this was not written in the Torah, we would not even be allowed to say such a thing. And David HaMelech says that whoever marries, that God places the special ones in our house. What does it mean, God places the special ones in our house? David HaMelech first says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu fathers the orphans and the defender of the widows, meaning that although HaKadosh Baruch Hu is soars over the loftiest heights, he still remains intimately involved in the affairs of the weakest and the least prominent people. In so many words, disputing the heretical ideology of philosophers, whether they are of the Greeks and Romans of a couple of thousand years ago, or the philosophers of today that think that Hashem is too great to be involved in the most minute details of our lives, regardless of who R is describing, whether R is you as an individual, your family, your community, your nation, your tribe, whoever you are, Jew, Gentile, male, female, doesn't make a difference. HaKadosh Baruch Hu monitors everything, and he's involved in everything. Whether you are a lowly person or you are an extraordinary person, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is involved in your life. And furthermore, where is he involved? He's specifically involved in matchmaking. As it says, God settles the solitary into a family, meaning he makes homes. He matches people. Where even when Am Yisrael was in Egypt, slaves, torture, still HaKadosh Baruch Hu miraculously grew the people, where each woman that gave birth to 6 babies at a time. As we learned from Sefer Shmot, the book of Exodus, of how he gives 6 different adjectives to the size of Am Yisrael in the beginning of the parasha. 6 different adjectives symbolic of 6 different babies for each birth. Meaning that every family, despite the torture, the agony, still grew. In fact, the Gemara in Masechet Sotah, in the beginning of the Masechet, page 2a, interprets this particular verse referencing the divine art of matchmaking. For it is a superhuman task to fuse yechidim, individuals, into one harmonious unit. The Gemara says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give you a shidduch, give you a wife, give you a husband, based on where you stand spiritually. If a man is righteous, Hashem will match him with a modest woman. If a man is wicked, Hashem will match him with a immodest woman. Why modest woman with a righteous man and immodest with a wicked man, rather than modest with modest, wicked with wicked? Why? What's the difference? Rashi over there interprets it and explains that if he is righteous, he deserves a righteous woman. And if she is modest, then certainly she is much more likely to be righteous. On the other hand, if he is wicked, he doesn't deserve a righteous woman, nor does a righteous woman deserve a wicked man. And therefore Hashem gives the wicked man an immodest woman, because if she is immodest, then certainly she is wicked. Now, wicked doesn't necessarily mean they murder people in the middle of the street, they rob banks, and they do all types of things that are a tragedy to society that's going to be on the Channel 5 news. No. Wicked is based on the definitions of the rules of the Torah, the rules of the God that created it. And immodesty is a wicked act, because you're creating the jealousy, you're creating immorality, you're creating all types of inappropriate thoughts to anyone that's looking at you. And of course, this creates a lot of marriage problems. Hence the reason why Hashem, that judges the world with measure for measure, well, you'll see that women that are immodest will always, without an exception, will always have marriage problems. Either they cannot find a husband, or they cannot keep a husband because everyone keeps divorcing them, or they have a husband, but not one that they're happy with, because there's constant animosity between them. Why? You're an immodest woman. You caused other men that are married to different women to think about you. You caused problems in other marriages. You caused problems in other marriages. The measure for measure judgment for that is to create problems in your marriage.